A brief message from your friendly neighborhood editing Jordan. We tend to try to keep things pretty PG-13 around here, but this is an improv podcast. So, who knows what we're going to say. Sometimes we throw in some swearing, some sexual content, and some violence. So, as a general warning, viewer discretion is advised. Also to be noted, the opinions stated about a certain tabletop role-playing game are just that, our opinions. We love the game and we like talking about it. So, any criticisms are really just all in good fun. That being said, wizards, please hire us. All right, with that out of the way, let's get on with the show.
Off, guys. Help.
Such a cool hat, Pertuset.
Crowning Day.
It's stuck on my glasses.
On the 3rd of Myrtle, or the 3rd of the Melting.
Please.
It is the 125th day of the year in the calendar of Harpdos.
Do I need to call TJ and tell him that you got stuck in a NASA hat?
I need you to call AAA.
Next on the list, we have the Day of Love. The Day of Love was a holiday celebrated in Huzuz, the city of delights, in Zakara.
I've been freed. Oh, I don't know if my insurance can cover it. Does getting stuck in a hat fall under my insurance coverage, you think?
I think it does, but I think it's not as covered. Like, certain hats are covered, but others aren't. I don't know if that one was covered.
Oh no!
I also feel like that counts more as a cowl, because it covers the neck as well, and I think it has to be a hat to be covered by insurance.
I think the only way to salvage this is to continue hearing Levi discuss holidays.
Midwinter, also known as Dead Winter Day, was a festival to mark the midpoint of winter in the calendar of Harpdos.
I feel so much better. I can feel my bank account and insurance increasing, I think. Another one, please.
Oh, okay.
Another one.
Fay Day was a holiday held in Waterdeep and the surrounding countryside during the vernal equinox on Shez 19. It celebrated the weakening of the barriers between the prime material plane and the fairy realm of the Feywild.
Does this exist in Vivia?
No.
Dang it.
No, I don't know.
Are these all holidays in fictional D&D land?
No, these are all real.
Okay.
That's why I was asking if it existed in Vivia. I'm mainly just asking if I can have a holiday in Vivia.
No.
You were ruining my buzz if these weren't real
God's
holidays.
Day was an annual holiday in Waterdeep that I accidentally clicked something. Was an annual holiday in Waterdeep that commemorated the anniversary of the end of time of the time of troubles in the year of shadows, 1358 DR. It was held on Marpanoth 15th.
Isn't Waterdeep like the capital of Arkansas or something?
No, I think you're thinking of Missouri.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Hornmoot was the traditional trading festival between the dwarves and humans of the Vast. It took place on the 14th of Kythorn each year, with lesser Hornmoots on the 14th of each month until Eliant.
I think if you got lesser Hornmoots, you're supposed to see a doctor.
Yeah, that might be covered by insurance. I think that is.
Holidays in D&D, everybody. Hey everybody, welcome to the Nat One Podcast, aka Nope, because nope, you're not gonna want to hear what we're about to have to say. I'm Pertuset.
I'm Levi.
And I'm Jordan.
Yes.
No,
the Charlie Brown episode was earlier.
All right. We're continuing our festive spirit over here at Nat One Podcast. Whoa. Yay, we're festive. It's Christmas time.
Oh.
That was me. That was not me, but that was me earlier. That was Levi, actually.
That was you getting stuck in your hat.
True. That wasn't even an entire bit. I was partially stuck. This week, we're here to talk about holidays in D&D. We'll talk about the ones in our homebrew settings. We'll talk to the extent that we can about the ones in official settings.
I have the entire list in front of me.
You have the list, so we can discuss it, but we have no play experience at all with them. No. That's what we're here to talk about today, and how you, DM or players that are listening to this, can maybe use this or discuss this or have ideas about this in your games.
Yeah.
Because it might be epic. Or it might be completely forgettable. Depends on how you do it.
Maybe you don't have holidays at all. Just omitted.
Your people
Maybe
aren't
there's a
allowed to
reason.
celebrate.
Yeah, what if there were holidays, but then they all got destroyed by the government?
That sounds like a great one-shot idea.
That sounds like
Mhm.
cyberpunk.
I was thinking more of that one movie, Rise of the Guardians, but
I love that movie.
see our Easter era episode for our
Yes.
builds for Rise of the Guardians, pretty much.
Absolutely.
You'll
It's a
never
great
guess
episode.
what Uncle Sam is.
That's such a good movie. That movie is so underrated.
Father Time.
The only thing
And
that
New Year's
people
Baby.
Oh my god, the New Year's Baby. I love that movie.
Giant baby.
It was a good movie.
I was talking about D&D build.
Oh, I'm talking about the Baby New Year from the Rudolph New Year special.
I'm talking about neither.
Did you kidnap the New Year's baby?
Kidnap him. I ate him.
Oh, I figured he was living in the hat closet.
Oh. All right, so.
Terrare? Did you eat a fucking baby?
Burp sound effect. Belch, even. So, holidays in D&D.
Yes.
First off, how do you guys feel about holidays in D&D generally? That they exist, that they are things on the calendar that people celebrate or whatever.
I like them. I think it adds a little bit more realism and a little bit more depth to a world because it makes it feel like it has a little bit more history, I guess.
As with any setting, unless like you have what we just talked about where there's some reason holidays don't exist, which is unfathomable to me, because societies are going to make holidays whether you like it or not. Yeah, it like Jordan said, it's first of all, it's like, how do you not have holidays, really? Because people are gonna make holidays.
You're gonna find something to celebrate.
But then it boils down a little bit more to, well, then what kind of holidays are there? Are there more parallels to our world, the real world? Do you have stuff that's completely unique? Do you? I mean, obviously, in the real world, there are certain holidays which could apply to otherworldly things, just depending on certain situations, like the end of wars and general celebrations for like the beginning of spring, things like that.
Daylight savings time.
No.
I
Does not
celebrate
exist
the end
in the
of
Vivia
daylight
universe.
Thank God, because daylight savings time is the worst. Not when it falls back, because that's the normal time that we're in the normal time that we're supposed to be in right now. I fucking hate daylight savings time, and I hate summer because of daylight savings time.
I only don't like it because for like half the year I have to type EDT instead of EST.
I just don't, because I don't recognize daylight savings time as a legitimate source.
It's stupid.
Holiday that you hate. No.
Yeah.
Arbor Day. Fuck trees. I'm kidding. I really like Arbor Day.
who you backpedaled so fast? Who did you think you upset?
The Arbor community.
The trees?
Pertuset.
I like trees.
They have ears, you know.
Taryn's least favorite holiday is Bastille Day, though.
Why? Because it's French?
Yes!
That's really funny.
Right. My least favorite holiday is Canadian Independence Day. No.
It should be, because they didn't earn their independence. They asked for it like wusses.
No, okay. Sticking with D&D flavored holidays here. Yeah, I think I agree that, like, in general, depending on your setting, if we're sticking with the idea that people do fantasy settings, especially, because the place for holidays in, like, spacefaring adventures, I mean, it can be there, but I feel like that's going to play a backseat because the unique novel thing is the space part now, not really the holidays.
Also, how do you tell what holiday it is if you're floating in space?
Also true. So I feel like we're going to talk generally about, like, typical fantasy settings. Yeah, the celebrating, like, a good harvest, depending on your, like, level of magic. If you maybe there's a day where all the mages get together and cast create water, so that way the harvest is good, or something. I don't know. Or maybe it's just low fantasy, and it's just the harvest day. Period.
You go out and you scream at the corn. That's all it is.
Could be. You gonna go corn screaming?
It's you're giving them the carbon dioxide.
That could be a whole thing. No, Dad, I'm not gonna go corn screaming this year. I'm a grown woman. I'm 16.
This is a corn screaming family. You're gonna scream at the corn.
I'm gonna go scream at the tomatoes instead.
Oh, elves are crazy. But that's the other thing that you get with fantasy and D&D is you get the opportunity to mix and match it between the races, or like if you have like established countries that are, you could have some that have like a bunch of different races welcome. You have some that are like isolationist, and so you can see how they celebrate it, or if they choose not to because they hate it or something. You have a lot of different ways to play with that. Of course, although D&D is almost always going to follow your players, so really the only experience they're going to get is wherever they are at the time that it happens.
Yeah.
Like how we were accidentally in the continent that celebrates Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there almost always has to be some sort of Christmas-like parallel or something. Some wintertime gift-giving event. It's
the
just
easiest
nice.
way I found to replicate it without having there be some, birth of the claimed Messiah of all mankind, is that it's a festival to celebrate the fact that winter is halfway done. So it's like, oh, we're on the easy part now, guys. We're almost
It's all
done.
downhill from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is like most of the time that like Christmas even celebrated, like I know people talk about like birth of Christ and stuff, but actually it's just like it was a time created because so many people were struggling and suffering because it's the middle of winter right after fall, so they made a holiday to be like, please just be nice to everybody around you for a little bit.
It's about togetherness and family and happiness and joy.
It's about giving.
Yes.
And so I feel like it would not be hard at all to say that happened in a fantasy world as well, where there very well could be strife and heartache and problems in winter. Just be nice to each other. But then the fun becomes, how much further do you take it from there? Because I like what Levi did with not
Levi's
just being a nice
Santa.
holiday. Yeah. Levi.
Okay. I was like, oh, I think it would be interesting if there was some kind of Santa parallel in this world. And so I decided that the guy that perhaps, no one knows, maybe the reason this holiday, Winter's Crest, started is because of this guy, maybe not. But there is an arch druid who roams my world, whose name is Nicholas Klaus, whose sole duty is every year on the week of Winter's Crest, he travels the world and delivers gifts to people who he thinks are in need of a little bit of gift giving and cheer for the year.
Which I think is lovely. I actually do love your interpretation of Santa Claus. It made me very happy.
It was very fun. I enjoyed it as well.
And he's just a really jolly. He's the stereotype of like he's just too happy for anything bad to ever happen around him.
He radiates down.
He radiates jolly.
Yeah. But you can take that kind of approach. You can do an approach where there isn't really maybe there's a myth about a character like that, and then your character who doesn't believe in it wakes up with a gift under their pillow, and it's like, oh, he is real.
He is the Messiah.
Yeah. Wait, huh?
And we've circled back.
Or you can do something like the Critical Role one shot. I know that was actually supposed to be like Santa workshop and stuff, but you could also just easily make like a Krampus special. Have Christmas be a fun time, but there's a mythic monster that punishes naughty children that your party has to go defeat or find because it kidnapped a child. You could do that. You could make a villainous Christmas episode, which could be fun.
Or Die Hard. You just do Die Hard.
You could do Die Hard. It's Christmas. There's a big party being thrown, and then I don't know, a bunch of wizards attack. Or a league of evil gentlemen. Leg for short.
Can we please play the Die Hard Christmas one shot? I'm begging.
The League of Evil Gentlemen.
I don't know. Because I thought it'd all be wizards, and I was like, no, it definitely wouldn't all be wizards. There'd be like, you'd probably have like some fighters, you might have a barbarian or two, and then Hans Gruber has to be like sorcerer or warlock maybe. So I was like, well, it can't be just wizards, so League of Evil Gentlemen then.
And are they actually terrorists, or is terrorism a red herring?
Fish?
That's the plot of Die Hard.
I thought it was about a guy dying hard.
No, he doesn't die. That's the point. Well, the other guy dies because he like hits the ground really hard, but that's
so he died hard.
He's not the titular character though.
Who's titular? No one is. Who's dying? Who's hard?
John die. Cousin Bruce.
Oh.
I'm sorry, John McClane. I apologize.
But yeah, that's just like a Christmas insert or a winter festive insert. That is one such example, and of course, it can take shape in any whatever world you have. You can put any sort of holiday in. You can put some of warning. Like, what's that one? Is that also in Christmas or Halloween with the bone creature that sings a song at your door? And
that's Christmas in
Christmas.
Yeah.
In
Welsh?
Wales, yeah.
Wales.
I don't remember what the bone creature does, but I know what you're talking about.
It sings to you in verse, and then you have to sing back. And it sings.
Oh, it's like a rap battle. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, it sings to you and basically says verses about why you should let it in your house, and you have to sing back verses about why you shouldn't let it in your house. And whoever can't think of a verse first loses. So if they win, they get to come in, and the guys in the costume get to raid all of your food.
Can we do that in D&D?
I was gonna say you very easily could have some like slightly intelligent monster or just like a guy. Then now we're getting into like something from like a Witcher territory where like there's legend of a sleepy little hollow, a little hamlet, where there's every night on Fantasy Month the 7th, July, Fantasy July, on the night of Fantasy the 23rd, or whatever you want, of a creature showing up at your door and stealing your food. You could make that, and it could be a mystery that your players want to investigate. It really is a monster, or it's a servant for a big bad, or it's just a dude in costume that wanted food.
Let's see who this really is.
Can it be part of the false Hydra adventure, and it actually just steals one of your children?
It could do that. It could also just be like something for good, where it's like I'm giving to the homeless, and then it's a festivity that picks up and carries across the country.
Festive Robin Hood.
Yeah. Could be. Creativity is unlimited for what you can do for holidays.
I don't know why this just made me think of this. Did anybody else not realize until they were much, much older that the little match girl dies at the end of the Little Match Girl story?
What is the Little Match Girl?
What is the Little Match Girl?
It's a Christmas story. It's about a girl, and she's a little match girl. She sells matches, and she's stuck outside on Christmas in the cold, and it's snowing. And so she goes and like each time she strikes a match for warmth, she's given visions of like Christmas and happiness and food and things like that. And then eventually she's taken away by an angel and gets to go to the Christmas feast. And I did not realize until I was much older that she just died. That's the end of the story.
That's insanely dark. Who the heck wrote that?
I don't know. It's a Christmas story.
I thought that was a different movie altogether.
Charles Dickens.
It might be. I genuinely don't know who wrote it. It's just like a Christmas story that goes in storybooks. I don't.
You know what would be a good story to put in this book? That one about the little girl dying in
dying
the cold
on the street
on Christmas.
You could have had an epic crossover where she's like lighting the last match and she's falling unconscious, and then someone goes like, "Hello, little girl. Would you like a home this Christmas?" And she looks up and goes like, "Mr. Scrooge, is that you?"
Scrooge already has his token orphan, although he's not an orphan.
Well, he's assembling a team of orphans.
It's called the Christmas Initiative. Oh no.
We're calling it the Christmas Carol.
Anyway,
Okay.
back to D&D holidays. You're welcome for that delightful little tangent. Go look up the little match girl.
Yeah, holidays can come from religious sorts like that. Could be one where it's like, this is the supposed day of the god's birth. I'm gonna jump
Or
on
death.
something. Or death, yeah. Which reminds me, okay, I'm about to get video game pilled.
Oh.
I'm about to get a certain video game pilled. So I'm gonna give you a warning right now if you're listening. I'm about to talk about Genshin Impact. I do play that game. Most people know I play that game now, especially if you watch the channel, yeah. And they have events that repeat every year in certain parts of the world of Genshin, of Teyvat. In Mondstadt, which is like the Europe insert bland Europe kind of German, but really, or Dutch, it's Europe. They have like a festival about drinking. They have a festival about soaring on the wind because they're the place about being free and being able to fly around. And then in Liyue, the China insert, their god dies on a day they had a festival to celebrate their god.
Yeah.
But he didn't really die. Spoilers.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
And then he tries to keep it secret from you the entire time that he's not the god, and it's really obvious that he is the entire time.
True, because he knows nothing. He knows things that literally no one else does, and he purports to just be a random citizen. But they have the Lantern Rite Festival, which is always like January or February every year. They do a really good job of fleshing out their world by having reasons for their holidays, having holidays repeat over and over again every year, but it doesn't feel like it's all the time like, oh my gosh, here comes this holiday again, because they literally do wait a whole real world year before it comes back.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I love it, especially because I've only played the game for about a year, so I just experienced them all for like a first time, and I'm very much looking forward to the next Lantern Rite Festival here in January or so. And especially the new region, Sumeru, it has some very interesting lore where they had a god, the god seemed to have died, and then a new god was born, and they found the new god, and they're like, this new god is lame. So the people of the country said, yeah, we'll have her be our god, but we're just going to lock her up upstairs and keep her up there.
Oh my goodness.
Her name is they call her Lesser Lord Kusanali because she's not as cool as their old dead god. They call Greater Lord Rukadavata. And then some citizens have a festival for the Lesser Lord called the Sub-Zerus Festival, I think. But the Academy, which is like the governing body, they actually come and shut it down because they're like, stop celebrating this lesser god.
Oh.
And she's still a real person that exists in the country that has access to people's dreams and stuff, so she can watch them shut down all the people celebrating her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is this the Cabbage Child?
Yes. Radish. Thank you. But yeah, they do a great job in Genshin of fleshing out their world with their festivals. It's usually based on their archons, their gods. But like the Lantern Rite one isn't. That's one where it just tells the people of Liyue, send out your wishes on a lantern on the lake. Which I'm pretty sure is just like an Eastern tradition anyway. That's like a Japanese or China thing. But it's still cool.
It's very cool.
It's cool that they do it.
Yeah. And the ones in Mondstadt are always, they're not nearly as epic as either of those, because in Mondstadt they're just like, yeah, for this week, we're just all going to go get drunk at a tavern. Mix drinks for us.
Woo!
And have our femboy god sing songs for us.
Yes.
Amazing.
Which is also cool, because that's another thing for a D&D inspiration. Instead of always making holidays that are like huge and monumentous and important and based on real events, make one for a group of people that were like a town that's like, yeah, we just decided this week's the drinking week. Here's your cup, go get a fill.
Amazing.
Like, they can be still like little small.
There can be small holidays that are local holidays as well.
Which I love that idea. That sounds like a lot of fun to like figure out because it could also just be like based on town superstition.
Yeah. You could make one that was small, and you could even try and put it in like a certain point in time when your players are playing where it's starting to catch on in other places too. It's becoming like a country holiday or something, or statewide, whatever your world is. You can have a lot of fun with the reasons for your holidays and how they're celebrated exactly. Okay, Genshin time is over.
Oh, also, I looked it up. The Little Match Girl is written by Hans Christian Andersen, which explains why it's deeply fucked up.
I thought you were going to say it was written by Hans Gruber first.
I thought so too.
Yes. Hans Gruber wrote the little. No, it's Hans Christian Andersen. So that kind of recontextualizes why it's so dark.
Gruber's a funny name.
It is.
True.
Best movie villain.
I'll admit, in Olympus, a lot of the holidays I have are just like straight ripped from real world ones. I have Fantasy Veterans Day. I chose that one in particular though because I was like, it's a Greek-inspired setting.
Mm-hmm.
A big emphasis in half of Greek culture is warfare and battles. I feel like they'd probably have a day to celebrate their warriors.
That would make sense. Oh, you got to talk about Theodomata? Question mark?
Yes. Wow. What the heck? How'd you get that?
Yeah. Arlo's the dumb one, not me. That's
Yeah, I made that's the one I think I was slightly unique with, even though the whole time everyone called it Fantasy Christmas, even though it was set in the middle of May.
It was a
Fantasy
joke.
May.
We knew it wasn't Christmas. So
Christmas in July.
I think didn't we only call one day of it Fantasy Christmas though? Because there was like one day that was actually presents, and that's what we called Fantasy Christmas. But the rest of it was
probably. Yes, so it was a Greek-inspired setting. When I was making holidays, I was like, I want one unique one, as unique as I can make a holiday. So I made one called Theodomata, which was a week dedicated to celebrating the Olympians. And depending on what country you were in, it was celebrated differently. My party was in the elf place, which sanctions the worship of the Olympians. They like it. And they went to a nice little vacation spot. So the people there every day of the week had a new little celebration. That's how the holiday celebrated, is every day of the week is a different god day, although some gods double up and triple up.
As is the case with Mommy Makeout Day.
It was similarly themed gods was the
yeah. You at home, guess who was included in Mommy Makeout Day?
Maybe we'll stop saying it before we get banned on YouTube.
No, because the Mommy Makeout Day meme comes from a YouTube video, so it can't be banned on YouTube because it's already on YouTube.
Yeah, there was I think that day had like, it was most of the female gods, not all of them, but I'm pretty sure it was like Aphrodite and Hera and another one. I don't think it was Artemis because I'm pretty sure Artemis was with Apollo. Might have been Athena, but I thought she was with Ares.
Were Artemis and Apollo, did they have separate days or were they like back to back? I can't remember.
No, they were on the same day because it was day and night. Day was Apollo, night was Artemis.
Oh yeah, and Apollo took the sun away early.
Yep. But yes, point is, every day was a different celebration, and most of the time it was just the interpretation of like the governing body of the town of what they decided on how to celebrate the gods. So they were like, oh, today we brought a matchmaker in town on Mommy Makeout Day. Yeah. So if you want a match, come step up. And for this day, you have to spend your day with whoever you get matched with.
I got a tree.
I got a boyfriend.
True.
I think I came out with the better end of that deal, just saying. But
it is true that the silly... See, I used DMs out there. Listen to this. So for that day, I knew it was going to be a matching day. And I imagined my players were going to be interested in it, and they were. Mm-hmm. And so every single one, I made pretty much a foil to their character in some way or other, except Jordan's character, who just got a tree. The reason for that was because... Jordan's character was a satyr in Elfland, so they were like, give her a tree, I guess. So, but for like Levi's character, I gave her somebody... At the time, Levi's character really didn't like the elves in general, thought they all were kind of bad. So I tried to make an elf that was as sympathetic as possible to her actual like values. And that created a long form NPC that has become like a recurring character constantly.
Yes.
And now like a character motivation. Yeah.
So long as he does not die or my character dies, I plan on marrying him. Yeah.
All from a silly little holiday plan, little thing I wanted to do just to make my players interact uniquely.
And see, that's what you can get out of stuff like these little holidays, inserting them into there.
Boyfriends.
I mean, boyfriends.
Don't you want one? Comment down below and you'll get one on Mommy Makeout Day.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, you get a boyfriend on Mommy Makeout Day.
I don't make the rules. I just enforce them, ma'am.
Or a tree. Tree is also an option.
That's true. Or if you're Tim, you get a snake lady.
If you're Tim, you get an STD.
That's also true.
STI.
I can't keep up with this modern terminology. They keep changing it.
That was one example. That I had a lantern festival thing.
I love the lantern festival.
The fire sale day was fun.
Fire sale was very fun. We robbed somebody.
We did, right. And that's where the majority of our party's magic items that we have to this day came from.
Yeah. So on Hades Day, it was a day of remembrance. So at the end of the day, all NPCs and player, everyone in the town was encouraged by the government. So again, this was not like Hades has informed people, celebrate the day by doing this. They were just like, this is how we're going to celebrate Hades.
We have events.
Yeah, they told everybody to write the name down of loved ones and put it on a lantern and put it on their lake that they had there. And they told everyone, if you do that, it is supposed to give them safe passage to the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
More like, or safer than just giving them ovals.
I forgot to look for Demetrius when we were in the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna do that and I forgot. Oh my god, the kid.
Whoopsie.
It would have been really funny if he got sent to what's the third one called? It starts
Tartarus.
with a T.
Tartarus.
Yeah, Tartarus, and then I could have been like, it was a good thing.
You were right.
He was going to grow up and destroy the world. That was Hades Day. Then I remember it was Hermes Hephaestus Day. It was Fire Sale Day.
Yeah.
Best day.
And again, the town had, and this was a thing that the town had been doing this for years. The way they chose to celebrate Fire Sale Day was everywhere in town was supposed to sell everything in their store for 1 copper. But also, they are allowed to defend and fortify their stores as much and however they choose to. Which led to...
if they beat you up and take what they sold to you back, they can just do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had to defend ourselves.
Did we kill the shopkeep or just knock her out? I don't remember.
No.
Either way, it was an accident. It was an accident, but like we did
knocked
something.
her unconscious somehow, and then all of her items disappeared. But it was because it was a magic spell, so then we undid that somehow, and
we got him back.
how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you didn't investigate. What had happened is you went into a store that had a lot of stuff. One of you cast Detect Magic and saw it was all magic around you. And then someone just like slammed her head into the table and she got knocked out, so it ended her concentration on an illusion spell.
Mm-hmm.
Which led to you finding the real items.
And we made out, because somebody, I think it was Levi that cast Detect Magic, and so we were like, get that one, that one.
Meanwhile, the same Tim from earlier who got an STI was trying to get a refrigerator, and he activated an Artificer's Defense items that like shot at them with beams.
I forgot about the turkey legs.
He wanted a fridge for a turkey leg, but turkey... There's not a turkey leg in Olympus. We do this from time to time where we have to make lore for stupid reasons.
Well, you don't have to. You just do because Noah was asking. Our friend was asking. No. Our friend was asking if he could find turkey legs, and Pertuset was like, "You can look," and he looked, and there was no such thing as a turkey.
But there is such thing as a curter.
There's a curter, yeah.
Which is just a turkey.
It's just like the Niaos I have in Olympus. It's not a cat.
It's a cat without a neck.
It's a Niao.
Yeah.
Cats also exist.
Which is currently what Tim is.
That's the funniest part about the Niaos, I think, is we determined that cats also exist.
But yes, so those were just some of the days that I had, and that was just in one town. Had the party been in another place, it would have been celebrated completely differently. Ares Day had, what was it called? Was it called Death Ball? Warball,
Yes.
paintball.
Yeah, paintball. And we
Paintball.
won.
Which was dodgeball, but you killed people.
Yep.
You were allowed to kill
You were
people. It
allowed
was
to kill
dodgeball,
people.
where the whole thing is still just hit someone with a ball. But but the whole time there are no rules, so you can like kill them while you're trying to hit them with the ball.
And then what we would Battle of the Bands
That was
was Apollo.
Yep.
Because he's the music boy.
Yeah.
Taryn got a chair.
True.
What?
Taryn got a chair.
Okay.
I don't believe that had anything to do with any holiday. He just like went to someone's backyard and found a chair.
Took a chair. I died.
Yeah. That's not because of the holiday though. Although it might be something to celebrate. No.
And
No.
We busted an underground slave ring and got our asses handed to us in the process.
That's how I died.
That's true. That's the one thing I took away from that experience. Though it was very fun to have a week-long holiday that the party was engaged with, I could tell by about like the 5th or 6th day, interest was waning. So I also had a secondary, more serious plotline happening during the festivities.
And
which
that's
then
where getting the toilet came from.
Yeah, that's when they got in the toilet. And then I feel like interest kind of popped back up after that because it was like, oh my gosh, intrigue.
Especially after one of us died.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's me. I die.
If there was ever like a movie special of Olympus, there would be a Theodamata movie. While the rest of it is just a series. Yeah, because that was just an isolated story, really.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Jordan, what about the holidays in your world?
Yeah. Holidays are a thing.
You could have that just reminded me, you can have oh shoot, what's that called?
I don't know.
It's the people that aren't culture. I think they called goths this for a time. It's the opposite of what's popular culture. I forget what it was called. Help me.
What?
Help me.
For a second I thought you were going for Jehovah's Witness because they don't celebrate holidays, and I was very confused.
It still has the word culture in it.
Wait.
Alternative?
No, I feel like it's not called like cross culture. It's something that means you're opposing the mainstream culture. But I forget what the word is.
Pop culture.
It's not anti-culture.
Grunge?
It's something culture. No. This is what this episode's going to be.
Subculture?
No.
Counterculture?
Counterculture!
There you go.
Counterculture! Oh my gosh. Now I can get back to the point. You can even have a counterculture holiday in your world if you so chose, such as Festivus. I meme it all the time because it literally is just a meme from a sitcom. But you could have like people being like, no, I don't want to celebrate mainstream holiday in this country. I made my own with black poke and strippers. Wait, black poke?
Blackjack and strippers? Is that what you were going for?
I believe I combined blackjack and poker.
Is that a genuine mistake?
Or is black poke just the choice card game of Olympus?
I thought you did that on purpose.
I do too.
It's a combination of blackjack and poker. I can say it's on purpose now, but it definitely wasn't. No. But yes, you can have like a group of people that are being silly and counterculture and are like, I don't want to celebrate the main one, so I made my own. It's the same thing, but a little different. We have a pole instead of a tree.
And then you have the satyrs that were raised in the woods and just don't know about any of this.
Yeah.
Every day's a holiday when you're a Dionysus cultist.
Yup.
You can do something like that too, where satyrs have their own holidays. Satyrs come out into the real world and they'll be like, look at the moon. I think it's time for Festivus. And everyone's like, what the heck is that? And
I'm going to text Ashlyn and we're going to come up with our own holidays and surprise you guys.
You can. Feel free.
And you could do things like what I have done with my universe, which is I've taken the basis for one holiday and I flipped it on its head. So Winter's Crest, which I unabashedly stole the name from Matthew Mercer, but it has a completely different meaning in the Vivia universe, is the middle of winter, which is the harshest season on that continent. But the other continent, which the newest campaign that we're going to be playing takes place on, which is a more equatorial continent and is much warmer, their harshest season is summer. So they have an opposite holiday which celebrates the waning of summer coming to an end.
Autumn's Crest.
It's called Corswane.
Oh.
And then how does that play into the different month and time structure for the...
It takes place in the exact middle of their summer month because the way the dragon calendar works is they have 4 months.
4 months.
For
I
each season of
remembered.
the year, and each month is like 80 days long or something. I don't remember. It's actually should be more than that.
90?
About 90, yeah. I think it's like 92, and then one gets an extra day, and it rotates every year. Which one gets the extra day? Just like a leap year, but yeah.
I love leap
Can I be born on leap year?
No.
Well, every year's a leap year. It's just 1 month gets an extra day.
No, like I want to be born on leap day.
One of the extra months.
You want to be like a 4-year-old when you're 16?
I think it would be funny.
Technically, you are 4, but physically, you are 16.
So I think final pieces of advice for people that want to do holidays, but also you don't have to listen to us because we're just a couple of goofy people.
But if you did listen to us, it might make us more popular.
Yeah.
Also true.
So tell people where you got the ideas.
Yeah.
I'd say what I would say, and let me know what you guys think if you want to add on or if you agree or disagree. I'm
going to disagree no matter what you say.
The general premises of holidays in your world. So I think you can do like the thing we said at the very beginning. You could make a counterculture world that's got no holidays, but then you have to explain it. Don't just say it doesn't have any holidays, and you can't explain it with "I'm lazy." You have to explain it with like it could be something like in Genshin, where the government has a ban on the holiday because they don't like it because it promotes something they don't like. Or you can do, I think the premises for religion or for the holidays can be religious, can be historic, like a battle was won, a great battle was won or lost even. It can be scientific, like based on the seasons, the crop, or getting over a really rough time in the seasons. Or it can just be silly fun. It can be societal, like we talked about earlier. Where
Society.
It can just be like people being like, I just want to drink today, and then it became like a popular thing. That's what I think are the general bases for your holidays in your world. Yes. If you can think of another one, pass it to us. What do you guys think about that?
I think that it is entirely and completely correct.
And you can make a counterculture one as well.
You can't do that. No, you're not allowed to do that one.
Make goth fantasy Christmas.
I want to see the opposite of the fun drinking holiday. People that don't want to have fun or do drinking. That could be religious diehards that are like, no drinking. Or it could be people that are like, no fun.
I was about to say
like
that's
Footloose.
Well, I was gonna say that's just what was it called in the 20s? The movement
Prohibition.
Yes, prohibition. But yeah, the women.
Can we cause prohibition?
You can try, and it'll probably have the exact same input goal that it did in our world, which is increased crime.
Yeah, I think it would be fun. Exactly. That's why I'm going to try to cause prohibition.
Crime Day.
Temperance. That's what it was called. Before prohibition was a law, it was called the temperance movement.
Oh, yeah, temperance.
Crime Day is Ren's favorite holiday.
Crime Day?
Yes.
AK, which would make the Purge sound a lot sillier if that's what they chose to call it instead.
Remember, everyone, tonight is this year's annual Crime Day.
No, I raise you. Crime Fest. Crime Fest.
Now that sounds like a concert. Come see your favorite bands. Kleptomaniacs. Homicide. Cat burglars. At Crime Fest. That's all I have to say. Get out of here, everybody. Stop watching us. For this episode only. Only this episode.
We're still done with this
here?
Episode.
My favorite.
Go home.
My
the
favorite
movie's
group
over.
At Crime Fest is the Jordan. You have to cut off the episode right before
Hey, We hope you enjoyed the episode you just listened to. If you really like our content, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications on YouTube, and look for us on Spotify. If you'd like to see us continuing to do more fun projects in the future, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can find our page linked in the description above all of our other social media links. And finally, if you'd like to keep up with the zany shenanigans of our lives and check out some more skit-based content and things like that, check us out on Twitter and TikTok, links in the description. And hey, thanks!